Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Schreiber with the York County Economic Alliance. Thank you for joining us today on an historic day and a historic announcement on a historic site. Thank you, Governor Wolf. We are absolutely delighted to have you in York County today, although I know we have you in York County every day, but it is particularly exciting to have you right here today. At York College of Pennsylvania's brand new campus, my alma mater, and Gov, I know you were also a Board of Trustee chair at one point in time. I think it was actually the year I graduated because I know you signed my diploma. Interesting side note, you also signed Representative Seth Grove's diploma too. So he likes to remind both of us of that. We're here at the future home of your college's Knowledge Park, a former paper mill. Now under redevelopment, thanks in part to $6 million in funding awarded by Governor Wolf in 2019. And right behind us is our well-known Codorus Creek. From here, the Codorus extends 1.4 miles, city line to city line, bisecting York City, and it is with the support of our Commonwealth that we can enhance this section of creek to provide greater access, walkability, and improved water quality, city line to city line, providing benefits of public health, recreation, and more. The Codorus Greenway project will deliver upon a 100-plus year vision to improve and enhance the natural beauty of our Codorus Creek through new access points, multimodal connections, riparian buffers, dam removal, and green infrastructure. This is a generationally transformative project that will reshape York's landscape, making right decades that our creek, our greatest natural asset in York, has largely been inaccessible, closing off ability to freely access the water throughout our city, touching some of York County's most impoverished neighborhoods. At its core, this project is about building a park where existed none in its place, and a tangible step towards economic justice for the generations of nearby residents. We are standing at the confluence of federal and state support with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers commencing infrastructure improvements to the flood wall, work that is already underway, and what you see occurring now and extending through the city length of the Codorus. But we're really standing at the confluence of millions of dollars in public and private investment, from York College to the York Housing Authority, Regina's here somewhere, and their new homes at Thaxton Park across the street, to the Penn Street corridor, where developers Anthony Moore and Fred Walker, who are also here, are working to improve the Salem Square neighborhood and the Penn Street Market, an anchor in our city, and also the recipient of $1.5 million in support from the Commonwealth and Governor Wolf. If you were to walk this 1.4-mile stretch of Codorus from here to Keystone Kid Space in Peoples Bank Park, you would bear witness to well over $150 million in investment in residential, commercial, cultural, educational development, all benefiting the Codorus Innovation Corridor, the vast majority of which would be impossible without the support of our Commonwealth and this governor. We are elated to be here with several partners today from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the City of York, the United States Army Corps of Engineers, Buchard Horn, C.S. Davidson Engineers. A special thank you to Ray Cudney from Mohawk Industries, the contractor for the new flood wall, and Adam Larimore from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for joining us. We could not be here today without a significant amount of boots on the ground work from that team, and of course our own team at the YCEA, including Dr. Silas Chamberlain, somewhere in the audience as well. Other project partners include York City, who I already mentioned, York County, the City of York General Authority, York County Community Foundation, and Powder Mill Foundation, and of course, the York College of Pennsylvania. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the podium York's favorite resident and favorite governor, Governor Tom Wolf.
Thank you, Kevin. I was going to say it's nice to be back, but I've been here all day. So it's great to be here. And it's really good to see old friends again. I see a lot. I said hi to a lot of you. John Schmidt, haven't seen you for a long time, and he assured me that the Never Assume sign was here when he was here, when it was Schmidt and Ault. I'm old enough to remember when this was Schmidt and Ault. So a lot of things have changed and continue to change. And I also remember and know of all the great changes that have taken place at your college, and it's great to see that continues. And you know, we keep thinking about when I started. John, you were president of the chair of the board of trustees too, but back in the old days, there was York College was way out there at the end of town, and actually part of it was in I guess, Spring Garden Township, right? But with this project and every project since 1972, since Hurricane Agnes, the college has come a little closer to the city of York. And with this, it will actually be part of the city of York, and an intrinsic part of the city of York in a way that it really wasn't in the old days. So I'm really proud of this for so many different reasons, but that's one of the reasons. So it is really great to be back here, and I'm proud to say that the Commonwealth is participating in this project to bring the college and the community closer together, but also to make this Codorus Creek. We call it a creek or a river now?
It's still Creek.
Still a creek? Okay. It's always a creek when I was. I've heard that we're trying to turn it into a river, right, Mayor?
After the Rackby, yes.
After the Rackby, okay, that's great. But it is an amazing resource, and since 1972, different people in this community, leaders, ordinary Yorkers, have done everything we can to make this the resource that it ought to be. And I think with this, this will be the capstone of all those efforts. It will finally be what we've always wanted it to be and known it could be, the great resource at the heart of a great community. And the Knowledge Park that we're in right now is going to be part of that restoration, that renovation of this area. I was proud to support Knowledge Park with a $6 million Commonwealth grant. Kevin, did you call it RACP or RCAPS when you were in the legislature?
Always Rackby, depending on the governor.
I've never seen anybody who really cares. You know, as long as the check doesn't bounce, I think is pretty much the way. So whatever it is, $6 million went into this project, and that's part of that. $10 million is going to go in to the Codorus Greenway project here in the city, and I am really proud to announce that today. Work has already started. The planning has been going on for years, and the hopes have surrounded this again since 1972. We have all been thinking about how we can make this a hub of revitalization, a hub of a great city. The project itself has been a very long time coming. I mean, a long time coming. In 1972, I don't see, Phil, you were around. John, you were around. Not many of us were around back then, but Hurricane Agnes, you remember that, right? And Hurricane Agnes flooded this whole area. Used to be some old hulking industrial buildings here. And John, I'm not talking about Schmidt-Alt. That was not an old hulking industrial building, but there were a lot of those around, and they were torn down in the wake of the flood that basically flooded this area. And the walkway is the result of that. But it had yet to be finished. And there were a lot of different efforts. Remember the Embouchure Dam and a lot of things that went in here. But it has become a much more important project. And I think this is, again, the fitting end to that. We've been dreaming of a green space for 100 years now, all along the Codorus. There have been many efforts to achieve this since 1972, and I'm really grateful to the partners that have been part of this. Let's think back to people like Genevieve Ray, remember her? Louis Appel. Michael was, before you were mayor, you were the Codorus Creek keeper, I guess, right? And I remember you worked really hard to do your best to make sure that this was as clean a stream as it could possibly be. John Kraut was mayor, Betty Marshall, through their mayorships, and so many others. The York County Economic Alliance, the City of York, York County. And the city we need to make sure that the city council puts the $5 million into this to help us. We need that partnership. The Corps of Engineers, the York's. Do I sound like I'm putting too much pressure on?
Put it on the city council, not
City
me.
council, okay, all right. The York County Community Foundation and the Powder Mill Foundation. Michael, this is really important. Not to mention the many people who have changed this thing. This is a bold reimagining that will take an inaccessible, unusable area and turn it into a green hub for the York City residents and visitors, with immense potential to support further community and economic development. This will be a magnet. This is an exciting time for York. It's an exciting time for our Commonwealth. And projects like the Codorus Greenway are examples of what we can achieve when we roll up our sleeves and put our minds to it. Our investment in the Codorus Greenway will support a community-led vision for the future of York City. Yes, The Commonwealth is putting $10 million into this, but this is the result of millions and millions, would you say $100 million that has come from all kinds of different sources. And that's the heart of this kind of a partnership. And that's what we can all celebrate. This is going to be a great resource for the city. But we can celebrate that, but we can celebrate the fact that it brought so many different people together. And through projects like the Codorus Greenway and the Knowledge Park, York is going to have a much brighter future where students, business owners, and residents can walk along the creek and get inspired or just relax. You never used to be able to do that along the Codorus Creek. Now you can. We're at the start of an exciting new venture right here in York, and I'm sure I speak for everybody when I say we can't wait to see how this ends. So thank you. And now I'm going to turn it over to another one of the folks who has really made this a reality, and that is Representative Carol Hill Evans. Carol.
Governor, I remember when this was Schmidt-Nault because my grandfather worked here, and as a little girl, every Christmas we would come here and run around the halls and get our little net stockings with oranges in them and candy canes, and so I remember that as well. So this is especially touching to me and personal to me this morning. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you. I'm honored to stand here with all of these special groups who have been just fantastic cheerleaders, fundraisers, and believers in the Codorus Creek, once known as the Inky Stinky. No more. And granted, it's not always been good news delivered from a podium next to Codorus Creek, but that is why I'm especially happy that we're sharing good and important news here today. Thanks to people who have been fighting for the survival of the Codorus, we're another huge step further along in one day realizing this creek's healthy, natural habitat here in York. I thank those who are serving in grassroots groups fighting for funding, as well as pollution awareness, water testing, water life ecology, endangered species, and so much more. This renovation is being supported by public grant funding, low-interest loans, private partnership and investment, as well as charitable endeavors, economic support groups, conservation groups, large and small, and taxpayers, large and small. This is government working for you. Funded work spent on healing the Codorus is everyone's win because the Codorus belongs to all of us. It's what we put in it, it's what we get out of it. With this funding, we're delivering healthier water to ourselves, we're bringing fish back to the Codorus. We're standing for a downtown culture with green, new enterprise. We're also standing for art and open spaces, which are essential for young, growing minds to be proud of. The Codorus was here for us. It will be here when we leave. It was here before us, and it will be here when we leave, which is why we're investing in all sorts of things that York and our neighbors up and downstream want more, and importantly, need, and they need it now. We're linking the Heritage Rail Trail along the Codorus and bringing national monuments together in a refreshing new vision. Outdoor classrooms, laboratories, and peaceful areas will be incorporated at length along this project. We've already made an amazing run changing minds about the future of the Codorus by investing real money and work into the creek, and we're doing it within our lifetimes. Imagine getting something accomplished within our lifetimes. With this major funding, we're now poised to hand over a more manageable project and better prognosis for the Codorus. And we're accomplishing it by simply envisioning a healthy watershed here at home, open for families to play in and fishers to learn in and paddlers to paddle in. We can look forward to beautiful, strong infrastructure in the center of our city that attracts new commercial growth, festivals, and much-needed green spaces for minds and bodies working in a world-class city. Our economic development agencies, like the generations of naturalists, environmentalists, engineers, and York citizens have put their lives' work into the salvation and improvement of this gift of nature. How we keep this gift growing determines how much in return we receive. We are all in this together. You've said that a time or two, haven't you? Yeah. We're all in this together. We must protect this natural resource and cherish it always. I'd like to specifically thank the Partnership for the Economic Development of York County, Codorus Creek Beautification Initiative, the Pennsylvania Department of Pennsylvania DEP Growing Greener Plus program, the City of York and Mayor Michael Helfrich, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and especially Governor Tom Wolf. And thank you to everyone for believing in the Codorus. And now I would like to introduce Jeff Vermeulen. It says here Mayor Helfrich, but I was told Jet. So the two of you come and battle it out.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, welcome to the neighborhood. I'm so glad to have you all here. I will try and kind of stay focused, but you're also in one of my favorite places on the earth. So I want to just take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about it, and that is that this little area right here was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, really, for York. And I'm so excited for the Knowledge Park that is going to bring us so many new industries and help so many people build up their wealth and their family's well-being. But very early on in the 1760s, a grist mill, a mill for flour and things like that, was built right across the creek here. And that was used to feed the troops in Valley Forge and to feed the Continental Army to help create this country. A sawmill was built right onto it. Next, a guy named Philip Jacob King purchased the house across. Oh, that's my house over there, by the way. That's the Cook's house. And Philip Jacob King bought that house, and he built a little walkway. There were no bridges here or anything. He built a little walking bridge across the creek here so that he could come over to his new paper mill, the first paper mill in York, and then built the Philip King Mansion right behind us, the building that you saw here, all in 1812. Oh, and then there was a distillery, too. So it had to have something to do with that grain, right? But imagine all those different industries just consolidated in this little tiny pocket here. And in addition, there was an island right out here, which was people's favorite place to come and go out to the island and picnic out there. You can see it in one of Lewis Miller's drawings. This is just my favorite place. So I'm so excited for the Knowledge Park to be joining the neighborhood, and I'm just in full support of that. I also want to thank Governor Wolf and the Commonwealth for supporting the Crispus Attucks African American Museum. Also very excited about that, and the Strand Capitol, which is obviously a cornerstone of our community here. And now for the creek, which I could talk about for many, many hours. I'll try and keep it succinct, but I can't start without thanking Tom Faust, who was my mentor, and he worked tirelessly to worked with Gladfelder Paper and against Gladfelder Paper sometimes to come to the great project that happened in the early 2000s that reduced the pollution in the creek and gave us the opportunity to look at it again as a recreational resource. When I started investing my time back in York in 2001 and 2002, I wrote an economic development plan based on a clean creek with trails along it, not just a rail trail, but something that everybody from the city could enjoy. And it wasn't about really economic development. It was about how people feel about themselves. How when some of our greatest areas of poverty are within a few hundred yards of this creek, how do people feel when they look down there and they see this thing that doesn't look alive and that people use as a dumpster sometimes? And our focus, this investment is not a once in a lifetime, once in many lifetime investment. And I'm just completely grateful. I will at this time do my best to start a little matching bid here and also relieve the Army Corps of Engineers representatives that as soon as I got into office, I got a letter that said either pull out the Bascule Dam or fix it. That was in March of 2018, I believe, and we were like, oh, we're trying to put the money together, come on, hold on. And then we saw, wait a minute, we can not only accomplish this, but we can also possibly match future investment in the Codorus. So I will be, as a starting bid, I know you want me to add one more zero, but at a starting bid, I'll put $500,000 on the table, Tom. And I know, talk to some people about pushing that up, but that's what I can do today and commit that I will be putting that money in. And Army Corps of Engineers, as fast as I can, I'm going to get that Bascule Dam out. But this is just, again, for me, for working all these years, this is and for all the conversations you and I have had, Tom, about this is just the apex. Well, it's not the apex yet, but it is the high point so far that we have been on this ride together trying to improve this Codorus Creek for all people here in the city. And I'm just could not be more touched and delighted. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for those remarks, and thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Governor. Thank you all for being here, and good morning. On behalf of our president, Dr. Pamela Gunter-Smith, who cannot be with us here today because she's out of town, I would like to welcome you all again to York College of Pennsylvania. We are truly delighted to have you here with us this morning on our North Campus, on the site where our new Knowledge Park perfectly aligns with a larger economic development vision for the reimagined Codorus Innovation Corridor. Governor Wolf, I'd like to welcome you back to this site. It was actually under your leadership, if you'll recall, as board chair in 2002 that the college acquired the former Schmidt Alt paper mill. We were not entirely certain of its future at the time, but we understood that this was an important property within our city that could play a pivotal role for the future of our college and the York community. Your administration partners with the college in so many different ways, whether it's with our It's On Us efforts, our Manufacturing PA Innovation Program, which was the first of its kind awarded to the college, and now, of course, with your commitment to the Knowledge Park. We thank you. We know that the regions across the country that are thriving in today's knowledge economy are those most adept at advancing innovation in the form of new technologies, new processes, and new ideas. That said, the connection that exists between ideas and practice does not happen automatically. These very same regions all have figured out ways to leverage the knowledge resources that are available in their colleges and universities and help drive prosperity in their communities. Our Knowledge Park will provide a place for our faculty and students to work side by side with forward-thinking partners interested in solving problems, advancing new ideas, and growing economic opportunities here in York, all while enriching the student experience, which will define what it means to be a future York College graduate. As York College evolves, we know that our community will continue to grow alongside us, whether we're providing a high-knowledge business with a place to call home or helping a student discover a passion for their career. The Knowledge Park will create transformational opportunities, very much the way the mayor has outlined earlier in his remarks. Today, as we discuss the future of the Codorus, know that the future of our city and our college and our Codorus are all inextricably linked. As Dr. Gunter-Smith will often say, as the city goes, so too goes the college. As the college goes, so too goes our beloved city. We look forward to making this site a place that embraces education, our natural resources, and continues to embrace our city and students. Next, I would like to invite one of our other economic development partners in this project from Brugard Horn, the CEO, Brian Funkhauser.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Governor Wolf, for being here today. Brugard Horn is proud to be a leader in the Codorus Greenway project to transform a currently inaccessible, rocky terrain into an ADA-accessible, walkable, bikeable, boatable waterfront connecting city line to city line, providing a new parkscape amenity to York City residents and to all other visitors of York. This project coincides with the investment of over $16 million in flood wall infrastructure improvements by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Presently, as you can see behind us, is the work that has begun on this project within the Knowledge Park. The initial phase of this public-private project could commence in 2022, and we're very optimistic it can, with construction starting with the geographic vicinity of West Philadelphia Street and Pershing Avenue. This will have not only an impact to visitors and residents from accessibility and recreational use, but also supports York County's Chesapeake Bay goals by meeting up to 16% of sedimentation reduction goals. Continue to ensure that flood protection is achieved, plus creates defined natural channel for paddling and riparian buffers with native plants improves aquatic life. It was over 2 years ago when we presented this concept to Frances. She came to our office and we were able to share with her Kevin and I the ideas of this project. And who did used to work for us as a planner. So her reality and the discussions we had with her that day are coming to reality now, so we're very appreciative of her support of this project as well. So we all thank you for seeing this as a vital project that has been talked about, as we said, for over 100 years now. And with those comments, I'd like to welcome back Governor to take any questions or answers.
Thank you. Now, Brian, Kevin, Michael will take any questions you have. All right. Thank you very much.